Hi guys, welcome to another episode of Ultimate Bucket List, and on today's show, I show you around one of the most bitter football rivalries that nobody really talks about. Here in the UK, there's lots of bloodthirsty and violent football rivalries. Arsenal-Tottenham, Manchester United-Liverpool, Rangers-Celtic, Newcastle and Sunderland. But there's one derby that nobody really talks about, and the media doesn't really report on. But if you're from around these parts, this game is literally everything. Yes, it's the West Lancashire Derby between Blackpool Football Club and Preston North End. This is the biggest game of the season for these two teams, and it turns ordinary kind Lancashire folk into violent thugs. Trouble between these two sets of fans is never usually well documented, but it definitely happens. It all started in the 1950s, where both sets of fans bickered about which club legend was better, Sir Stanley Matthews or Sir Tom Finney. Both of these two players were the best in their day, and the bickering in the 50s eventually turned into violence in the 70s and has never really let up since. Violence between these two sets of fans is pretty much expected, although you never really hear about it. And not only is it violent, the fans are always trying to get one over another. Whether it's Preston fans hanging banners over the motorway, to Blackpool fans flying banners over the opposing stadium, to Preston fans invading the pitch, doesn't matter which pitch it is, they'll invade anything, to Blackpool fans hijacking episodes of Countdown. There's definitely no love lost between these two sets of fans, and between the teams, well, it can get quite petty as well. More on that later. Okay guys, so you're going to need tickets to attend this fixture. As a precautionary measure, each team require you to have a purchasing history prior to buying tickets. This prevents day trippers and chancers buying tickets just to cause trouble. To buy the tickets, all you need to do is just go on each team's official websites and just buy them there. It's pretty simple. If you don't have a prior purchasing history, ask somebody who does. It's literally that easy. Okay, so you've got your tickets and now you need to get here. And on Derby Day, the towns go eerily quiet, because the residents of each town know what's coming next. You'll notice that the police are literally everywhere. There's literally a small military convoy between the train station and the stadium. And you know it's Derby Day when the police are even guarding the pubs. The amount of police presence here is certainly overkill, but given the violent history between these two sets of fans, it's definitely a worthy precaution. They make sure that both sets of fans don't mix, and there are certain areas of each stadium that you cannot actually access if you're a home fan. If you're an away fan, you only have access to one or two streets and one or two entrances, and this is to prevent you from mixing with the crowd. But if you're supporting the home crowd, you've got access to various pubs around the stadiums, and if you're a cheap ass, various supermarkets to buy cheap beers. Outside each stadiums, there's not really all that much to do, and the dining options aren't really that gourmet, but we're simple Lancashire folk, that'll do. If you're really bored, feel free to check out each team's club shop. I gotta admit, Preston North End have very nice kits this season. I particularly like this one in this lovely United shade of red. Hey look guys, it's the boss. It's Peter Risdale. Let's see what he has to say.
What do you reckon today, Mr. Risdale? 2-0? 2-0 North End?
Just want to win.
Yes, absolutely.
So now it's time to go inside, and before you do, you'll probably be security checked, just like this chap here. Once you've done that, feel free to post your ticket into the turnstile and walk all the way through. The concourses at each stadium aren't too bad. There's plenty of room and the food prices aren't too bad. If you look around carefully, you'll see some very interesting bits of history. And a lot of people don't realise that David Beckham, yes, that David Beckham, used to be a Preston North End player, so there's a bit about him on this wall. Once you've got your cheap food and drink, it's now time to walk out onto the pitch. And especially here at Deepdale, there's no bad view anywhere in the stadium, so just buy a ticket, any ticket, it's fine.
Guys, most of you know me as the Manchester United season ticket holder, but for today and today only, I'm supporting North End. My former employees, come on North End, the stuff.
Whilst we're here actually, let me show you around the place. That over there is the Bill Shankly Cop. This is generally where the away supporters sit, and it can get quite loud and boisterous. Over there, where the clock is, that's the Invincibles Pavilion. This is the newest part of the stadium, and if you take corporate hospitality, that's where you'll be sitting. Over there is the Alan Kelly Town End. It's called the Town End because it's the end closest to town, and this is where all the hardened bloodthirsty PNE fans sit. We're sat right here in the Tom Finney stand. This is the largest stand here at Deepdale. It's also the family stand, so this is where you take your kids away from all the hooligan types. And today I'm sat at roughly the halfway line, exactly where I like to sit. And to be honest, not a bad view. When the teams come out to warm up, usually about 30 minutes before kickoff, you're free to walk around the edge of the pitch to try and get photos and videos of them. But don't expect them to come by and sign autographs and pose for pictures, because they're currently warming up and they'll blatantly just ignore you, like every other football club out there. Today marks the 100th anniversary of Tom Finney's birth, and it's a special occasion here with banners flying high to commemorate arguably the greatest player to ever play for Preston North End. If you are in the Tom Finney stand, don't be surprised if you're sat right next to the directors. As the teams come out onto the pitch, the volume of both sets of fans increases dramatically. Blackpool fans are already tossing coins and flares onto the field, and the game hasn't even started yet. Stay classy, Blackpool fans, stay classy. Even though I'm a former employee of the Lilywhites, I never understood why the club mascot is a duck and not a sheep. If anyone knows the answer, please tell me in the comments section below. As soon as it kicks off, it really kicks off, and both sets of fans are in full voice. In typical Derby fashion, both sets of teams try and attack each other from the outset. It's pretty much end to end at this point. It doesn't look like either team has any intention on defending. And at the 7th minute, all PNE fans rise to their feet and give a rousing applause to the life of the great Sir Tom Finney, which Blackpool promptly boos. Ooh, it looks like the goalkeeper's been kicked in the head. That looked like a pretty nasty challenge. The game actually stopped for a significant period of time at this point because this was a very serious injury, which required the goalkeeper to be stretchered off. Even Mr. Ridsdale didn't particularly like this, and he was very concerned for the opposing goalkeeper. Blackpool then replaced him with none other than former Preston North End goalkeeper Chris Maxwell, which prompted the home crowd to give Chris warm and humble greetings on his return to Deepdale. One of the things that strikes me about this derby is how loud both sets of fans are. And yes, you'd definitely expect that from a derby game, but given that this stadium only holds about 23,000 fans, you'd think it'd hold more than double that given the amount of noise they were making. Preston played really well, and they should have been at least 2-0 up at the half.
Left-hand side, he looks to cross it in, big deflection off the crossbar, Jobson Brown who slipped, and it still hasn't been cleared
and it took more than 3 minutes of injury time for PNE to rightly draw first blood.
Can he find the finish? He can! Cameron Archer has done it!
Yeah! Yeah! Come on! Yeah!
And both sets of fans are throwing fireworks at each other. Yay! Now you'll probably notice at this point that there's not many Blackpool fans in attendance, and it's not because they don't have any fans, but this is a result of both teams' pettiness. Earlier in the season, at the fixture between both of these two teams at Bloomfield Road, Blackpool reduced the ticket allocation for Preston fans by about 1,000, which left Preston North End fuming that they weren't being treated fairly like every other team. So in retaliation, Preston North End did the same. They reduced their ticket allocation to just 2,000 fans to match what they received earlier in the season, and even though the Bill Shankly Cop can hold in excess of 6,000 fans, Preston decided, nah, to hell with you guys. So when I said that the two teams are petty with each other, I really wasn't joking about that. This is why you see the rarity of home fans being in the Bill Shankly Cop, even though this stand is generally designated as the away stand. and notice the big barrier in between each set of fans to try and keep them apart. In the second half, it's more of the same. It's pretty much end to end at this point, and both teams are actually playing very well. Blackpool dominated possession of the ball, particularly in the middle of the pitch, whilst Preston were significantly faster on the counter. I think either team could have had an extra 2 goals apiece, but they seem to have cancelled each other out. Both sets of fans give as good as they get, and even though everyone knows that I'm a United season ticket holder, I've got to admit that the atmosphere at this game beats most of the games I've seen at Old Trafford this season, which is surprising given that Old Trafford is 3 times the size of this place. In the closing stages of this game, Preston come agonisingly close several times, and Blackpool give the hosts a bit of a scare at the other end. And nobody's more relieved than the people sat next to me when the final whistle eventually goes. Preston North End 1, Scumsiders 0. And here come the Preston pitch invaders. It's fun to see the security guards rugby tackle them to the ground. This particular one managed to get Cameron Archer's shirt. Here you go son, here's a shirt, enjoy your night in jail. And even though the match ended 5 minutes ago, nobody's actually going home. The fans, very happy with the team's performance this evening, are more than happy to stay behind and clap them off the field. And one of the things that makes me laugh is the Blackpool fans trying to climb over the tops to try and attack the Preston fans. I mean, come on, you're going to go through 2 lines of police and a whole bunch of Preston fans. Are you guys for real? So outside the stadium, you'll be corralled by police to try and disperse as fast as possible. They'll usually keep the away fans in from anywhere between 10 minutes and half an hour to wait for the home crowd to disappear. If you are an away fan, expect the police to escort you back to the train station or to the bus station. They generally don't want you to mix with the home team's fans. As much as I would love to show you footage of fans fighting, I'm not stupid enough to stick around to get caught in the crossfire, or to be trampled by police horses. And if you park anywhere near the stadium, good luck trying to get home, because you'll be stuck in mile-long traffic, which is why I always park about a mile away from the stadium so that I can get out of there without too much hassle. And on my drive home, I actually managed to see the police convoy escorting the Blackpool fans back to Blackpool. This is how seriously they take security here. Overall guys, I highly recommend that you come to a West Lancashire Derby game once in your life, especially if you like football, but also if you're a fan of another team. It's interesting to see from an outsider's point of view what hatred looks like here in West Lancashire. Okay Ninh, I'm sold. What do I need to do? Well, you'll need to get to either Deepdale Stadium or Bloomfield Road. Tickets are available at each team's website, and you'll need a prior purchasing history with both clubs in order to buy tickets. If you don't have one, either try your chances at the ticket office or ask somebody to purchase the tickets for you. The cost? Well, the cost of both teams are actually fairly reasonable, and prices start from about £24. The maximum you'll pay is £30 for a ticket unless you're going for corporate hospitality. Getting to both stadiums on a match day is pretty hard work, especially with the police cordons, so plan your trip accordingly, and if you are driving, park about a mile from each team's stadium. If you're an away fan, please check your official team's website, as they'll tell you exactly what streets that you'll need to go down for access to your part of the stadium. Is there anything else I need to know? Yes. Because of the violent nature of both sets of fans, I would highly recommend that you don't hang around after the game. If you're there to cause trouble, just know that there's a police officer literally every 10 yards, from here to the train station, so it's very rare that you'll actually get away with stuff. Guys, if you've enjoyed this episode, please be sure to like, share and subscribe. Comment on the comment section below, and if you've got any other bucket list ideas, you know what to do. For getting enough suggestions, I'll go ahead and do that. So guys, thank you very much for watching, and we'll see you in the next episode.